our podcast, Broker Banner Denver, where we are breaking down barriers to home ownership. I'm your host, Kim Davis, the real estate expert.
And I'm Patrick Williams, the mortgage guy. We're here to inform and educate about the home buying and financing process.
And on today's episode, we are going to talk about the Fed meeting that just happened this week and also give you an update on Denver real estate and what the Fed meeting means for upcoming real estate.
Absolutely. Well, how about the Olympics? Are you into the Olympics?
I am into the Olympics. I love the Olympics.
I do too.
I do too. Why. Oh, I started watching badminton. I love badminton.
I saw a rally. Did you watch Snoop Dogg? Snoop, I think it was Monday night, maybe.
Snoop.
So he's out in Paris, right? And he's doing he's on NBC, and they have him working. Well, who is it? What's his name? The guy that does Monday Night Football or whatever, the main guy during the prime time, has Snoop come in.
Trico, is that right?
Chirico, I think, something like that. Yep. So he's like, Snoop, I'm gonna have you put this jacket on, and I want you to kind of do the play-by-play or whatever. And it was badminton, and it was the wildest rally I've ever seen. But Snoop is commentating, and he's like, "Yo, so this dog over here, oh whoa," and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I've been seeing all these posts about Snoop, and they're like, I don't know who picked Snoop Dogg to be the USA mascot, but I love it.
Oh, and he's everywhere. He's at the swimming event. They zoom in, and he's with Katie Ledecky's family, and it's just crazy.
He's doing great. And he said yesterday when I was watching Olympic prime time, he goes, "This is grueling, but I'm having fun." I'm like, yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah, it's wake up first thing in the morning, and he's out at all these events, and then he's going late into the night doing the NBC
he's
stuff.
Doing a great job. And then have you seen Colin Yost doing some of that?
Oh, yeah, he's in Tahiti for the surfing. He's hilarious.
He's pretty funny.
He's so funny.
I've only seen a couple of clips. I haven't actually watched too much of it, but they were joking around with him because he actually had a blazer on, and then he goes, "Hey, he's like, I'm using the barbecue as my, as my camera,
yeah, right.
stand."
Because it's just him out there, right?
So you can see him with his Mac laptop, and it's on a barbecue on top of a box with the.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes me feel better because that's I put my when I get on a Zoom meeting sometimes I only have a camera on my laptop, but at home I have this big monitor,
right?
And you look better from above, right?
Oh,
so I always get my computer real high, but so it makes me feel better that Yost is having to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I saw one where he was out there with the surfers, and actually surfing with them.
He was surfing with them?
Yeah, he actually was getting up.
No, Scarlett Johansson?
I didn't see Scarlett.
Ooh, speaking of Scarlett Johansson, did you hear that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to Marvel Universe?
Yeah,
MCU.
but he's going to be a villain.
I know.
Pretty wild.
That's pretty crazy.
I don't know. It seems like the Marvel ship has kind of sailed a little bit since Disney has bought them.
Well,
but I mean, if we get
Deadpool has done really well this week.
I've heard. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither.
No, but I want to.
Yeah, I'd go see it. It was always Deadpool was separate, and then they brought it in. Now we went from Olympics to Marvel. This is a sweet transition.
I know.
What Dr. Doom, though, right? Is that who
I
Robert Downey Jr. is going to be?
Yes.
We have confirmation. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'll watch Avengers 5 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, is that one that we rent out a movie theater for and invite clients? I don't know.
Good idea.
We'll talk about it.
Hey.
If you want a free movie.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. Yeah.
So the Fed today.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about that?
Well, absolutely. I want to talk about that. Yeah. No. So this is Fed Week.
Right.
That's kind of what we call it in my industry.
In the mortgage industry.
Yeah, in my industry.
Why?
Obviously, our business is driven a lot by interest rates.
Right.
So when the Fed meets, they don't always meet every month. It's usually, somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks.
Okay.
It's a big deal.
Whew,
usually there's
tough.
2-3 reactions to first. It's the first reaction, and then there's a reaction to the press conference, and then there's a reaction the next day. The market.
And the Fed met yesterday, right?
The Fed,
Wednesday,
so they met on
31st.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Today is Thursday. So the press conference came out yesterday, and boy, I mean, I think based on some of the jobs numbers that we're seeing, we're having a lot of first-time claims. Unemployment seems to be an issue, and we're losing jobs.
As we've always said, I know it sounds like we get really excited about bad news.
No, I don't want to hear about people losing their jobs.
Yes, we're not excited about bad news, but that's when interest rates go down.
The problem is that Fed seems to think they have to break the labor market in order for inflation to come down, and they're two very separate things. But we seem to be at that point right now. There was a lot of people arguing the Fed should have been cutting rates at this meeting.
Instead of waiting until September.
So I feel at this point, at least a 25 basis point cut is just, it's a certain thing.
Here's the thing that I think people confuse. We've talked about this. Buyers will come, they'll talk to their mortgage broker, you'll give them a lender letter, and then they see a rate on there, and let's say it says 6.125.
Yeah.
Well, that's the rate that you think, or it's not locked in.
Well, I don't actually put a rate on my lender letter. I don't, because that's the thing, is that I can't actually lock in an interest rate, usually 30 days, and I have to have a property. So when you come to me and get pre-approved, I'm going to pull rates that day and kind of price things out that day of. But until you actually lock your interest rate in, you've identified a property, you're under contract, your rate is not actually secured until that point.
I think that's a disconnect with the public, because I think a lot of buyers go, oh, well, this bank's going to give me, 6, and this bank's going to give me 6.25, and this person over here is going to give me 6 and
and we talked about that too, is making sure to compare apples to apples and get a fee sheet, because a lot of times people can tell you a rate, but they don't tell you that is with 2 points.
Correct.
And so
you're paying down those points.
Yeah,
so,
you're paying that rate down.
So we just want, when you hear us, as we are getting excited, and we had predicted this, or you have, or the real estate market.
Yeah,
in general,
I mean, there's a lot of experts out there that I follow. I can't say that I'm a financial expert that is, predicting the market or anything, but I have a lot. I listen to a lot of experts and try to, because I'm guiding my clients of when the best time to lock is. Sometimes I'll push it out until 15 days before closing if we're in a declining interest rate period, which looks like we are right now. So,
I was going to say, we need to finish it.
Yeah. So today, being August 1st, the day after the Fed meeting, the markets are not doing well as far as the stock market. Like the Dow is currently down over 700 points. But mortgage-backed securities are doing much better. They are much better than they were 2 days ago. The 10-year yield, which is the 10-year note, is actually priced better than the 2-year, which is called an inverted curve. And typically when we see that means a cut is around the corner. So we are seeing that today, and we are under 4% on the 10-year for the first time since February.
Wow.
So it's a big, like that 4% barrier is kind of a big deal to be back down into
Did I sound like
you
I
did.
was really excited?
Yeah, she's faking it really well. I'm excited because I know what that means, and that means the interest rates are going to start coming down. So it's if we can stay below that 4 and continue, I mean, literally within almost for 6 months, we've been above this level.
Do they have an idea? Like you say, interest rates are coming down. Anything down is wonderful. Do you think, is this meeting so great that you think we'll see 5.99, or you're thinking lower 6s? And I know this is a guesstimate.
I mean, this is me. So I think we see a cut in September. There's a possibility we even see 2 cuts, one in November and one in December.
Okay.
So if that were to happen, there's a possibility we would definitely be in the low 6s. And then I would say by February, March of next year, I'm hoping to see a 5. Up front in the beginning. So, I think everything was at the beginning of the year, everybody thought this would happen much sooner. 6 cuts, and here we are, it's August. We're, well into the second half of the year, and we still haven't seen a cut yet. Right. So there was a lot that changed from that February when the last time we were at this same level to today.
And we have a lot of sellers sitting on the market right now. I've been sitting for 30, 60, 90 days. So this is great news for, sellers and buyers, right? Sellers because they can get their house sold, and buyers because they'll jump back in the market.
It's great news for everyone.
Yes.
The cost of borrowing money has been really high, whether you are buying a car, whether you are getting a personal loan, whether you are running balances on credit cards. The cost of lending money has just been astronomically high, something that we haven't seen in a really long time.
Well, I don't know if you've heard, but have you heard about the whole McDonald's? People are boycotting McDonald's because it's not the affordability it used to be.
Well, I saw the earnings were down. And
so
it's because it's $12 for a McDonald's, a number one Big Mac meal or something. Yeah, so
they said they're coming up with a $5. It's temporary, but a $5 value menu, which you can only do a McDouble or spicy chicken and a small fry and a small soda for $5 at participating McDonald's.
Well, we are not endorsed by McDonald's, but I don't eat at McDonald's often, but who doesn't love a Big Mac, right?
I do. I have a friend who's never had
unfortunately, that's not in the $5 meal deal, though.
No.
You got to get the spicy McChicken or the McDouble.
It's not. So interest rates are coming down.
Interest rates are coming down, and that's good news for everyone. That's good news for sellers because that's going to mean more buyers are coming to the market. If those sellers are turning around and buying and having to take out a new loan after they sell, good news for them as well. So I think it's going to reinvigorate the market as we head into the fall, and then obviously for the spring buying season next year, I think we're really going to see a lot of.
Honestly, I think the fall market, we have been predicting that the fall market would, look pretty well, especially going with the interest rates.
Yeah.
It seems like the fall market here in the Denver metro area always picks up right after the kids kind of start back into school,
which is in the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah. It's my first time since I've had kids that I'm not.
You're not going back to school?
Not going back to school. It's kind of sad.
Is it sad?
Exciting at the same time.
And both at the same time. I'm sure, not having to go to the mall and do back to school shopping or, Walmart or Target.
I never did that anyways.
Yeah, I just kind of give them money now and be like, okay.
That's what I do too. I wonder if she'll ask me for that. Anyways.
I would tell them no. That's my, sorry, Lulu and Ava, if you're not going back to school, you don't get back to school dough. Right?
Wow.
I know. I'm kind of harsh.
They're not going to like you anymore.
I know. I'm sorry. But they've got jobs. They can go back.
Yeah, they have jobs.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about what this means. So lower interest rates, what that means is, as we have been saying, and what we predict, of course, we don't know this for sure, but we expect this market to pick up, which we had talked about. So in Denver, the last few years anyways, July seems to be the month that the summer market kind of stops. And so that's why we're always saying, hey, if you're thinking about getting your home on the market, you always want to start like April,
right.
To hit that summer market. And so summer markets kind of end. We had a pretty slow July. We believe it's going to pick up in August, especially with the lower interest rates, which is a perfect time, in a month or two to sell a remodeled home.
That is a perfect day, especially if you're in the Applewood neighborhood.
Yes. We'll show those pictures once we get further along. But
I'd love to see a before and after. We're gonna do that.
Yes.
Kim's flipping a house. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Her and her husband have decided to buy an investment property, and they're going to do a fix and flip.
We're in the middle of it.
You
follow us on
You guys are pretty much done with tear out.
Yep. I put a little TikTok on there just showing the tear out. And so we're going to kind of film it as we go. So we're hoping to be at drywall in the month.
Nice.
So we have plumbers, electricians, everyone's in there. But anyways, so what does this mean for the Denver market, right? We are scattered today.
It's all right. I think I'm just like giddy. So
You're excited.
I really am. It's finally, I've been waiting for this since, February, honestly, when everybody was like, oh, it's a sure thing. And then we got bad inflation readings and
we thought 5.99, the market's going to be crazy.
6 cuts through the end of 2024 and we haven't seen anything.
Yep. And here we are in Denver, we finally hit that point where it was a even market. And
we're back to being balanced and which is funny because it seems like the sellers are just like, what's happening? Because they're so used to throwing something on the market and it going the first weekend with multiple offers. We're not seeing that anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so me having to tell people like, hey, we need to sign a 6-month listing contract. They're like, well, it's not going to take 6 months. And it's like, yeah, it could. This is all about pricing. This is all about, but as interest rates come down, what that means is like, hey, people still are qualified for the same amount of money, but they can get more house for their money. And
they can get more, and they can qualify for higher loan amounts. They really get more bang for their buck is what it's about. And I think there's a lot of people who've just kind of said, until interest rates come down, I'm just not doing anything.
Exactly.
And I get that because it does make a big difference on payment. But at the same time, we've also been talking about dating the rate and marrying the house. We've had buyers who have gone in during this time. We'll be able to refinance them as the rates come down. But they got into amazing houses, for early on. They're already gaining appreciation. So,
well, here's what I have to say is that if you are thinking about buying a house, you need to, we always say this, but you need to jump on it now, because here, I think in the next month when things really start to, get figured out, finally you see interest rates and it's been a month, people are going to feel more confident, they're going to jump in, to where if you went under contract now, you wait the 30 days, you can lock in, in a few weeks as interest rates start to come down. You're going to see prices in the Denver metro area start to creep up. We've been on a little bit of plateau.
Maybe that balance go away. And
that balance is
lose your edge as a buyer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so you're going to see pricing, go up. And then those people who think that Denver's a bubble, there are many, many, many articles out there right now that are saying that Denver is still a place to be. It's still an area that people want to live in. We have employment growth. We have population growth. I mean,
it's a place to be. Yeah. I mean, you can just feel it. There's so many projects going on. There's so many great employers.
The weather out here.
Yeah. Right? I mean, we are dealing with a little bit of smoke these days.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just in case, like Patrick said, we're doing this on August 1st. There are 3 fires,
I think 4
right now. Oh, 4? Well, I know there's one up in Loveland.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
Yeah. And I remember that started 4 days ago.
Yeah, not that long. And then one in Boulder. And then one now down in Littleton, kind of pretty close to you.
Right, yes.
Really close to your old house.
Well, it's close to our new house, too. Had that wind been blowing a little bit north, we would have been in trouble. But it is just on the south. It's just on the south side of Deer Creek in Wadsworth. And so the hogback, as everyone calls it around here, is on fire.
Yeah.
Literally. So praying for all those people that are
there's a lot of houses back there. I mountain bike back there quite often.
It's all closed, and so they talked about that fire a little bit this morning, but sounds like not bombers, but
they're having helicopters and the planes come in and scoop water right out of Chatfield and go drop it on the fire
reservoir down just to get the water out of there. And then there's this little lake right by South Valley. And there's helicopters going into that lake too.
Oh, wow.
So it's been very interesting the last 24 hours.
Well, thank you for the firefighters who are out there risking their lives and fighting these fires to protect people's homes.
Let's hope that we get some rain or cooler weather.
It does look like we might get a break late next week. Right. Are they saying Tuesday?
Well, I had heard Tuesday, but I haven't.
Yeah. But, it has been hot and dry over the last month here.
Right.
But
crazy.
I think the firefighters are out there killing it, doing a great job.
Well, and over there at the Deer Creek fire, the quarry fire, they have to deal with rattlesnakes. So they've been talking about rattlesnakes.
There's a lot of rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes.
Yeah, the trail that I take from Deer Creek Road to ride up there is called Rattlesnake Gulch. Yeah, so be careful out there.
Yeah.
So to kind of wrap up my portion here, we've got the jobs reports have not been looking good. We've got another big one coming out with July. That comes out tomorrow. So that's going to indicate kind of where we're at. People are thinking it's not going to be good, that we're going to show jobs are down, unemployment is coming up, and pretty much just cement the fact that we'll see an interest rate cut in September from the Fed.
That inflation's coming down, and so we need to keep the economy
moving forward. Yeah, everybody talks
rates
about a soft landing, and a soft landing is kind of where we're at right now. And if the Fed waits, we may go into a recession, and we don't want to see that. We want to see that soft landing.
So, anyways, buy a house. But what we were saying about the articles, there are an article, about the 20 best cities to own an investment property in America. And this is from the Financial Samurai. Have you heard of them? Yeah.
No, he sounds...
Well, he's about investing in investment properties.
Okay.
And so Denver is the 19th out of the 20 cities. Denver is 19. They're saying the population growth in the Denver metro area is still at close to 4%, and employment growth, like I was saying, which is why people still want to move here, 3%. They say, we have good tech,
There's a lot
industry.
of, Boulder has exploded as this like tech, like it's almost like the old Simi Valley, or is it Simi Valley?
No.
What's it called? Silicon Valley. Thank you. We were looking at each other like, oh no, what did you just do? Silicon Valley, like Boulder, there's Google offices there. A lot of software is coming in. We've got a lot of aerospace here. The majority of people who move to Denver are college educated.
Lockheed SpaceX
Aero.
Is here. So
SpaceX has their own bar on campus, which is kind of cool. They've got like their own little happy hour right after.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
That's right. Yeah.
If you go down the Highline Canal, you'll see the big
Platte River.
Platte River, you're right. Yeah. Platte River.
They have an old rocket that they launched. I can't remember the name of which one it was, but they kind of have it like set up and you can see it. But we're riding down there and there's like all these people having a happy hour.
Right. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. Maybe I should, change careers and be a rocket scientist.
Yeah, you might have to go back to school.
I might, a little bit.
The reason why it's such a great place to invest, which also means it's a great place to buy, and that's why I bring this up, is that home values in the Denver metro area continue to go up.
Yeah, this says 7.3%.
7.3%. And we had predicted at the beginning of the year that, it was going to be more like a 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
But we continue to have growth. Either way, if it's 4% or it's 7, 8%, of course, we were hitting there after the pandemic, 11, 20,
double-digit
30%
growth is just not sustainable. If people expect that, they're gonna be disappointed. But a healthy growth in value is anywhere really between 5 and 8%, would you say, or even 4 and 8%?
Absolutely. So to still see that Denver is having a 7+% in growth, just as, and if you have investors wanting to invest in Denver, that means it's a great time to buy. We also have another. This is a blog from a gentleman, Door Loop, and he also said, for investors, once again, another great place to buy is still Denver. So the point of it is just that, hey, Denver is not a bubble. If you hear people saying that, we have a bubble, it's not a bubble.
It's not a bubble. And I think there are some cities that are experiencing that. But these were cities that during COVID and that post-COVID demand period where people were able to work remotely and move wherever they want. There were cities like Austin, and Boise,
that grew.
Some cities
they're on here. I think.
They are, but I do think that they have seen some price where actually some homes now are worth less than they were last year.
And I think you could say that even in the Denver metro area, we've seen that Denver has kind of plateaued a little bit in pricing, and you've seen those pricing come down a little bit just because of interest rates. But I think with interest rates going down, you're going to see prices start to go again. So that's why I'm saying don't wait. But
let me ask you a question.
So ask away.
Like, I know we're talking about investments here, right? And a lot of people look at their home as an investment.
Absolutely.
Right? But how long does it take? If you want to make an investment, how long would you recommend somebody stay in their home in order to be able to, turn a profit with quotation marks?
Well, I always tell people, and it has changed over the last few years, but I'm starting to say it again. Hey, even though you have to do a 30-year mortgage, which I think scares a lot of people, they're like, oh my goodness, a 30-year mortgage. Let's be honest. Most people do not stay in a house 30 years. I mean,
what's the average? I think it's like 5 to 7 years.
5 to 7 years at people before they move. And so I tell people like, hey, especially when you're a first-time home buyer, maybe you're having to settle. You're not getting everything that you want. Maybe instead of a 2-car garage, you have a 1-car garage. Maybe instead of 3 bathrooms, you have 2 bathrooms, 1
bathroom sounds rough. I'm not going to lie. At least a 1.5.
Well, if you don't have children.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Right. But I just say, hey, it's a minimum of 2 years.
2 years.
I would say, sometimes 3, but there were people right after the pandemic that were moving within a year and had
still,
great equity. As we keep saying, that is not
sustainable.
Yeah. And so we're seeing things kind of go back to a more
So if you, this is
market.
where I think, having somebody who understands the market and is an expert in the area, like if you really don't know that if you're going to be in Denver for at least 2 to 3 years, you should probably rent.
Well, you could rent, or you could look at it as, hey, this is an investment, and
you can buy, and then if you don't stay, when you move out, you can rent it out to somebody else.
Let's just be honest. There are costs to buying and selling a home, and so a part of the reason why you want to hold it for 2 to 3 years is you need some equity to build some equity to recoup some of the cost. And so you have costs getting into a mortgage.
Yep.
You have costs to sell, and so you just want to make sure that your house. I never believe in selling a house at a loss. We had people from at the bottom of the 2010 market, which was the bottom, who wanted to sell. I talked my clients into holding, and I was like, if you can hold on to it, then just wait. And then we sold it in 11 for a profit. And so, I just think that real estate is long term.
It is a long-term investment.
Right. But 2 years, I would say, is the minimum that you would want to stay in the house before you move. And, in life, there's things that happen, right? You get a job change that.
Yeah, life happens.
You have a baby. You have a divorce. There's a death.
You get married. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of life that happens.
Yeah, but that's a good question. 2 years.
Yeah. So Denver's still top market in the country. We don't see that changing. Too many people want to live here because it's such a fantastic place to live. So much to do, so much opportunity as far as jobs. Recreation is fantastic. Weather, the secret, I think, is already out. The weather's great. The climate, even though we do get snow, the next day it can be 50 degrees.
Exactly.
And, so
people wear flip-flops and shorts all year through.
Well, the natives do.
The natives.
Sure. There's something about, wearing flip-flops in January that seems to be a badge of honor. But if you think that you're, going to purchase in the next little bit, Now's the time. Rates are coming down. It's a balanced market.
Especially as a buyer. Wait. As a buyer, right now, you're still your best negotiating powers right now, because if these interest rates continue to go down, you are going to see, I believe, another buyer's market. It's gonna start picking up, and you may not have the negotiating power.
Just kind of with my time frame of what I'm thinking interest rates are going to do.
Yeah. 60 days?
Yeah. And the longest I can think would be like February, right? That's like worst case scenario if, but yeah, I think with rates coming down, I think we start getting under 6.5, which I think we're going to be here probably within the next 30 to 60 days. We're going to see a lot of demand pick up, and I think a lot of these people that have been hanging out, waiting on the sidelines, are going to start jumping into the market. And this inventory that's there now isn't going to be there in 90 to 120 days.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
The holidays usually, people start to pull their house off during the holidays, but there are still people who have to sell. And so, I'm reaching out to some of those people that have been waiting and saying, hey, let's pull the trigger because your window of opportunity is about to close.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I think, unless you have anything else.
I don't.
All right. If you like what we have to say today, found it valuable, please give us a like, share us. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes.
Thanks. See you next week.